For today's Business Matters, job openings in the U.S. are unexpectedly up. The nation's labor market had nearly 7.8 million open positions in May, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Officials there say that's a high not seen in half a year, an increase from the 7.4 million jobs reported in April. Some economists had forecast a fall in available jobs in May based on tariff policies and geopolitical tensions. The June jobs report is scheduled to come out on Thursday. Tariff-fueled car sales appear to be sputtering out. Shoppers raced to dealerships earlier this year to get ahead of possible tariff-related price increases. Industry researcher J.D. Power reports that this pushed second quarter sales up about 2.5% from the year before. General Motors, Ford, and Toyota all shared increases in sales through late spring. Some car buyers are starting to lose momentum, though. Based on J.D. Power data, the annual automotive selling rate likely dipped last month to the slowest pace in the last year. And the new head of a product at social media company used the very platform to land the role. X has hired entrepreneur Nikita Beer. He actually named himself as a candidate in a post shortly after Musk bought the company. On X, Beer shared, quote, "I've officially posted my way to the top." The entrepreneur has sold two companies, a polling startup to then Facebook and a teen-focused social network to Discord. He joins X as the company has merged with Elon Musk's AI startup, and two other businesses shared sources and talent. On Monday, the U.S. Supreme Court agreed to hear a copyright dispute between Cox Automotive Communications and a group of music labels. If the court decides to shield the internet service provider from liability in copyright claims, it could change how similar cases are handled in the future. NTD Sean Marshall has details.
The Supreme Court has agreed to hear Cox Communications' appeal of a lower court's decision that said the internet service provider could be held liable for copyright infringement by its users. More than 50 music labels joined together to sue Cox in 2018. Their appeal to the Supreme Court sought to reinstate a previous $1 billion award that the lower court threw out. The labels accused Cox of doing too little to stop its users from illegally downloading pirated copies of their music through peer-to-peer P2P protocols like BitTorrent. They said Cox failed to address thousands of copyright infringement notices from the labels, failed to cut off access for repeat offenders, and failed to take responsible measures to deter piracy of the music. But the High Court declined to hear an appeal by the labels, including Sony Music Group, Universal Music Group, and Warner Music Group, attempting to initiate a new trial to determine the amount of damages Cox must pay. The Trump administration urged the Supreme Court in May to take up Cox's appeal and reject the petition by the labels. The High Court is expected to hear the case during its next term. Sean Marshall, NTD News.
Apple's attempt to drop a smartphone monopoly case has rotted. A judge has denied the tech company's motion to dismiss the Justice Department's lawsuit. Apple is accused of using restrictions on third-party apps and developers to keep users from switching to competitors. Part of the case focuses on technical roadblocks to third-party devices and services like smartwatches and messages. The DOJ is arguing these practices destroy competition. Sales of the world's most popular smartphone totaled more than $200 billion last year. An Apple spokesperson said the company believes the lawsuit is wrong on the facts and the law and will continue to fight this in court. Starting today, you can expect to see even more commercials before movies at AMC theaters nationwide. A deal was announced in early June between AMC and advertising giant National CineMedia. AMC says the pre-show material, which includes trailers and other promotions, can last up to 30 minutes. The deal will mean more ad sales for AMC, and the theater chain hopes this is a boost for its bottom line after seeing its worst first quarter earnings since 1996 outside the pandemic. National CineMedia in 2019 signed deals with Regal Cinemas and Cinemark Theaters. Training AI models may be facing new limits. A web giant will start blocking AI bots from accessing online content for free unless website owners grant permission. Here's more.
As the race to train AI models picks up speed, there's a new hurdle. Web giant Cloudflare has introduced new policies that could significantly impact how developers train their AI models. The internet firm said it will start blocking AI web crawlers from accessing online content without permission or compensation by default. All new web domains will be asked whether they want to allow the automated bots which extract online data to train large language models. Cloudflare explains that AI crawlers generate responses to queries in such a way that users no longer need to visit the original source. CEO Matthew Prince says AI crawlers have been scraping content without limits. He added the company's goal is to give power back to creators while still helping AI companies innovate. Publishers will have an option to charge AI crawlers for access with a new pay-for-crawl model.
The head of Ford revealed that veteran workers told him that young people don't want to work for the car maker. At the Aspen Ideas Festival, CEO Jim Farley said he addressed this by drawing inspiration from founder Henry Ford. During union contract negotiations, Farley learned that young Ford employees who were making $17 an hour there had to work multiple jobs to make ends meet. So the company made temporary workers into full-time employees. This made them eligible for higher wages, profit sharing, and better health care coverage. Farley explained that he was inspired by similar measures taken in 1914 by Henry Ford, who hiked salaries to double the average wage for an 8-hour workday. AAA estimates that more than 72 million people will be traveling at least 50 miles for the 4th of July this week. The good news is prices at the pump are dipping. Here are the details on the best and worst times to travel.
As our nation gets ready to celebrate Independence Day, travelers are being warned to brace for heavy traffic on the roads and long lines at airports. AAA estimates more than 72 million people will travel 50 miles or more this week. That's a new record.
Part of the reason for that is because July 4th falls on a Friday this year, so that gives people that long holiday.
AAA spokesperson Kellen Howell says the group started recording July 4th travel from June 28th, as many people took the entire week off for the holiday. They estimate most people will be driving to their destination with roughly 62 million people on the roads.
If you're leaving after 11 a.m. or after lunchtime, you are very likely going to sit in traffic.
The busiest road travel times will be Wednesday, July 2nd between noon and 9 p.m. and Sunday, July 6th between noon and 6 p.m., according to INRIX, which provides transportation data. If you're flying this week, TSA recommends arriving to the airport early. 18.5 million people are expected to fly between Tuesday, July 1st and Monday, July 7th. Here's the good news. Gas prices are down.
Gas prices are much lower than we have seen in recent years, about 20 cents lower than they were this time last year.
As of Monday, the average price for a gallon of regular gas was $3.19. That's 3 cents cheaper than a week ago.
NASA is teaming up with Netflix to stream its content this summer. The space agency announced that rocket launches, spacewalks, and mission coverage will be available on the streaming platform. NASA says this will make its work in science and exploration more accessible. Schedules and programming details will be announced closer to launch. NASA Plus will still be available through the NASA app or on the agency website for free. Prices for goods made in China and sold on Amazon in the U.S. are rising faster than inflation. That's according to analytics firm DataWeave. Here's more.
It shows that the median price for a basket of such goods rose 2.6% between January and mid-June. Over roughly the same period, the core consumer prices index rose at an annualized rate of about 2%. DataWeave focused on 1,407 items sold on Amazon, where China is clearly listed as the country of origin. Products rising in price at the fastest pace included school and office supplies, electronic items like printers, and home goods like furnishings and cookware. The increase naturally varied from product to product, with some even seeing decreases. While other factors could be at play, DataWeave says the timing of the increase suggests a ripple effect from new US tariffs on Chinese goods. Its analysis comes after numerous US retailers warned of price hikes as a result of the trade war. That includes Walmart and department store chain Macy's, as well as sportswear giant Nike. However, Amazon said it had not detected any big increases in average prices over the period of the study. Boss Andy Jassy said in May that the firm was maniacally focused on avoiding increases. Earlier in the year, the US hit Chinese goods with tariffs of 145%, though the new levies have since been rolled back to 30%. Donald Trump has defended the move as necessary to rebalance global trade.
And those who bought a video game from GameStop in the last 5 years may be entitled to a cash payment or credit. The game store giant has agreed to pay $4.5 million in a suit alleging personal information of customers was shared without consent. The suit claimed sensitive information was shared to Facebook through Meta. That's a tool marketers on the platform use to curate ads and content for users. If customers had a public Facebook profile at the time of purchase from GameStop's website, they could be entitled to compensation. GameStop doesn't admit fault in the settlement. Eligible customers can choose between a payment of up to $5 or a voucher worth up to $10. And whether it's a week away or just a long weekend, do you find yourself feeling more drained than recharged once you return home? Here are a few tips on how to feel more rejuvenated during and after your summer escapes.
Craving a post-vacation vacation? You might not be alone.
We're tired because we continue our work life and that work lifestyle on vacation.
Instead of relaxing, it can be tempting to overschedule, to try and see all of the tourist sites or do all of the resort's activities and more.
We just continue working. It's just a different kind of work. I have to see this cathedral. I have to, walk down this road, eat at this restaurant. And next thing you know, you're not resting, you're still working.
Jordan Barber, a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine, says learn to embrace unstructured relaxation. Have a to-do list, but also be okay just going with the flow and listening to your body. Other things to do to keep your stress in check. 1. Keep your hormones in balance with consistent meal and sleep timing. 2. Get early morning sun exposure to naturally boost your energy and reset your circadian rhythm. 3. Hydrate. You might be vacationing in a warmer climate or are eating more processed sodium-filled foods than you're used to. And finally, when it comes to meals, enjoy your vacation, but also try to eat more magnesium and potassium-rich foods, dark leafy greens, avocados, bananas, pumpkin seeds, and more to calm your nervous system.
It's okay to eat, at the restaurant that you want to eat at that might be a little processed or anything else, and to drink a little more, but make sure that hydration is up. But make sure that you're getting your magnesium, potassium-rich foods.
On to markets. The Nasdaq closed lower today while the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose. It's supported by gains in healthcare stocks like United Health. The session was marked by volatility and low seasonal liquidity. Now, Tesla shares fell over 4% after CEO Elon Musk clashed publicly with President Trump. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell reiterated the central bank's cautious approach, saying the Fed would wait and learn more about tariff impacts before cutting interest rates. The S&P 500 edged down and U.S. Treasury yields rose. That's it for today's Business Matters.